Do you have that back door open?
All right, we are doing a qualifying round for the 2018 Labor Day tournament. I have not practiced any of these holes, but I did make a cheat sheet. So we're going to start on hole number 1 here. I prefer from the rookie tees to come over in this direction, and I'm going to use a quarterback and a kingmaker. And I'm looking for the kingmaker to give me distance just in case I lay it up too short out here, to give me distance on that second shot more than on the first shot. And I'm looking for the 3 side spin, so it gives me a lot more options. It gives me 3 wins, so I'm not really trying to use the wind to my advantage here. I'm trying to pinpoint put the ball out in this area so that I can do a rough bump up here to go straight at the hole. And if you end up a little short on this side, you have an option where you can go from here to here and bounce it up and come up, but it takes about 3 top spin, a club with about 3 top spin if you're going to try and do the bounce to get up there to be able to go for the albatross. So you got a couple different options when you're on this side, whereas when you're out on this side, you've got to hit the ball way down here. And this approach from over here, the hillside on the green right in this area is a lot steeper than it is over here. And so it's a trickier shot, and you only have one way to come at it. You can't bounce from over here to get over there. Whereas over here, if you end up a little short out here, you've got a secondary approach. So we're going to be hitting it to the right, and we're going to use a quarterback, a kingmaker, and a sniper. That should be really the only clubs that we need for this hole, if everything goes to plan. So we've got a quarterback, sniper, we've got our Saturn. The backbone is definitely a more accurate club, but on some of these holes that have a lot of movement like that, having if something goes wrong and we have to use our long iron, having a long iron that has lots of backspin, lots of topspin, lots of curl isn't a bad deal. And we're going to stick with our Hornet because if it gets that desperate, we're in big trouble. Although this would be a good spot for a Thorn. Rapier, Nirvana, and Spitfire. I'm not going to mess with those unless we absolutely have to, because there is a rough bump here, and so it doesn't take a lot of anything on those clubs, so all those clubs should work. And we're going to use a kingmaker. Alright, here we go. Hole number 1. We purposely didn't qualify in the first round, but this is on Tuesday, so we're trying to qualify today. We got 2 accounts, and so we haven't practiced, so we're using the accounts to practice. 77 is the main rookie account, so our first round of practice is with it. If we make a mess up, then we'll play it tomorrow. If we mess up on an easy hole. Yesterday I eagled the first hole and hole-in-one the second hole, but I didn't have time to finish the round. Life took hold. That's why if you play in the rookie stuff, you don't have to compete for max trophies. You don't have to put in you can go out and practice for these tournaments. They should be holes that you've played enough that you can go to Golf Clash Notebook and look at the hole. Our opponent is in the rough, and from that spot there's no shot to the green. Maybe if you had a Nirvana you might have a shot to the green. And I'm not going to put any more than like 3 topspin. I want to see what 3 does. I tried more than that and it didn't work. So I'm going to come out about 1 ring. And then the wind's going to blow it up there 3.2. And I'm okay if I'm in that spot. I want to give myself plenty of error, so if I hit it great on that side, I still have plenty of room to make the bend and not clip the rough. And if I would have hit it great on the other side with that much curl, I would have been skirting the bottom, but I probably would have been in the clear on the fairway. That way on your drive, it's not as critical that you hit perfect, although perfect is perfect. So my notes say on this, next shot you're going to do a rough bump. And so I put the notes on here, not max topspin on the drive, 3 to 4, and 3 worked pretty good. Sometimes you'll get pinched a little there if you're playing in practice, and you can add just a titch of overpower to make up for it, but always leave yourself in the clear. So from over here you got to bounce. You can come in here, or you can do a rough bump from up here. I'm going to put just a titch of backspin just to see what that looks like the first time. I can't remember on this hole, but I'm going to aim right at it with a titch of backspin, and the sniper is 1 per ring. I didn't check to see where I was at in the club, but I'm going to do a full ring adjustment. I hit it great on the right. And the full ring adjustment might have been too much. I'll have to go back and watch the video on that and see if the problem was I overcorrected for the wind. Maybe the wind should have been, instead of 1 per ring, if we were in the middle of it may have been 1.5, so the ring adjustment might be what's off. So I'm going to make a note here to try 1.3. Approach. This is a hole in regular play that you will win a lot if you can shoot a consistent eagle, and this is definitely a hole where laying up over there on the other side and not trying to get everything out of it and setting yourself up for the next shot. You know, picking a big ball. will help you out. So we're on hole number 2. So let's see what hole number 2 is. Hole number 2 is a par 3. If I remember correctly on this, I was using a 2-power ball. It gave you better. It put you more in with your club, and I was coming from here trying to curl it back to the hole, and I was using a Saturn, but I think a backbone, if you got a high level backbone, will have enough curl and backspin that you can do it with the backbone. But I think I like the ring adjustment better on the Saturn. It was a more consistent shot. And I don't know that I was making any more hole-in-ones with my backbone than I've made with my Saturn. So I'm going to try this with a Saturn and a Katana. Use a 2-power ball. My notes say backbone Saturn, and I'm not sure. I got a question mark. Go left, stay close to rough, 1 ring out, backspin. I had plus 10% question mark. Wind is touchy. I know that there's a touchiness on the wind here. I'm going to use a ball Katana 1 to 2 power ball. I'm going to start off with a Katana and see how it feels. I'm going to do just regular full adjustments. So we're going to go back to the game. Alright, we're going to go back in our clubs. We've got a sniper there. Saturn. use my Saturn. I'm going to use my Saturn. I'm just more comfortable with the 2. More comfortable with the ring width on shots that require a lot of curl and a lot of movement and stuff. I am going to use a Katana ball. So I should only need a Saturn and a Katana ball. And possibly a putter. Alright, opening round, hole 2. I haven't played this hole in a while. Whole goal on these tournaments is to practice for the tournament, practice holes, and then when the weekend round comes, you're peaking at the weekend round. And if you play multiple accounts, and I have a practice account and I have a, like my main rookie account. And so I don't really care if I win or lose anything with my practice account. We're going for some of the hook shots and going for shots where if you can hit that shot and you're willing to risk it, there is a huge reward. And a lot of times on those holes, if you have the right clubs, you can make it from even the worst spot that you're in, you could recover. Then those holes are worth going for. Alright. Let's see if we can put it in the hole. Okay, first thing is I want to be about 2 rings off from the rough. I want to give myself some room with the wind. Two, and the Saturn's 2, so we're going to go 2-2, just a small adjustment. And perfect. A little short. So I'll have to go back and look at that on the video and see if we were short because we made a bad wind adjustment or if we were short. I can't remember which direction the wind was. Look how bad I am. I was just in the moment playing the shot. That is the benefit of recording yourself, though. When you're recording yourself, if you're practicing, you can go back and watch those recordings and see what mistakes that you made. You can benefit from the shot. Party. Those bump and runs with the Nirvana, or excuse me, with the Rapier. There's another shot that people that play with in-bringers and stuff shoot, where you're trying to hop it in, that you can still do that same shot with the Rapier, but Rapier people aren't as good at it. We don't get as much practice because we do that bumping around a lot, because we can do it. If you don't have a Rapier, you need your Rapier to be at like level 3. You need it to get to the point where the ball guide is past 3, like 3.2, so that it'll run across on that last hop. If you can't get to that point, then you can use a Firefly. A Firefly is a cheap version. It's got a bad accuracy, so sometimes it'll do odd stuff, like everything should have went, but it did some odd thing because its accuracy is really bad. But you can get a similar effect. Getting lag during that shot was not good. Nice shot. I haven't played this hole in forever. I think the way I play this hole is I come way up here at the top. I put a bunch of backspin on it, and I bring it down towards the hole. I guess that's how you play it. All right, hole number 3. What do we got for hole number 3? My notes say, let's see what hole number 3 is. Hole number 3. So traditionally on this hole, you can bounce over. You can use a bigger power ball and land right here. So if you use a Titan or a Kingmaker or any of the 3 power balls, if the wind's going tailwind and you want to lower that down, or any wind, you want to lower it down so you have a smaller adjustment, you can use a Kingmaker. If you're wanting to try and use a little bit of the wind, if you've got a tailwind to help you out, then you want to use a Kingmaker. It'll give you just that extra little kick, and it's got just enough curl that you can put your ball up here, and then you got a straight shot right at the green. And you got actually a pretty decent bump and run or a bounce over to try and get an eagle on it. There is a trick shot that you can do on this where you start it off out here and you do a hook shot trying to bounce it out in here to get over this creek, and you'll end up landing right about here. You're not going to use max right hand curl on that, because if you do, its trajectory will end up out in here. So it'll get out this distance, but it'll end up out in here, and it'll just be a rough shot. So I mean, it's still a nice shot, but it is a rough shot. So when you're doing it, you want to do about 3 curl to get up in here if you're trying to do that trick shot. But this is one of those risk versus reward holes. The other par 4 that's on here is there's another par 4 on here that's definitely worth trying to do a trick shot to get an advantage. But this hole right here is one that if you make any mistakes, your fault, my fault, nobody's fault, you can end up getting a par. And so this is not a hole that you want to take lightly. So if you can use a high power ball and an extra mile or something and get so that you can land here and you really don't have to overpower it. It's just all about hitting a perfect shot. And then use some backspin, probably about 3 backspin to land out in this area. And anywhere in this area is going to work, because you can bounce it off from here over. So as long as you bring a secondary club that it will be good for this, something that'll give you good ball guide like a sniper. You don't need a lot of backspin or top spin or any of that stuff. You need ball guide, and you need a little bit of control over what you're looking at. The other way is to try and lay up right here. Not try and get out in this neck and try and get out here so that you have a straight shot from over here. But just trying to get right out in between these 2 shadows. Now these trees are in play. But if you can get like right out here close to this last shadow, then you've got a straight shot. The only tree you got to contend with is this one. You have a straight shot on this side of those trees right over to here with a guardian. And you can use backspin to just bring it right back down towards the hole. It's a very low percentage shot that you're going to get an eagle, but it's almost a guaranteed birdie every time you shoot this hole. And you avoid all of this water and all this stuff over here. So I've been practicing this shot over here just to see if I like the control. You start off with a quarterback, and once again you're going to use a Kingmaker because you want to have as much spin control, side spin. You may or may not need the power, and you're definitely not going to need the power on the first shot, but this is where if you lay up too close or you lay up in the wrong spot, you can make that up because you got a kingmaker. And no matter what, the wind is going to be controlled, no matter what direction it's going. So in this shot, you're looking more for control of the ball than having to make wind adjustments. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring a quarterback and lay up down here. We're going to go for the layup shot. All right. Hole number 3. We're going to take with us a guardian. And our guardian is 78, so 1-4 per ring. We're going to keep our Saturn in our bag. We're going to bring a quarterback. We're going to bring a kingmaker. Big topper. That's what we're looking for. In those level 3 chests, we're trying to roll through them so we can get big topper cards. Play hole number 3. Now the thing about laying this shot up is layup shots are all great if everything works out fine, but if you screw your layup shot up, then you just messed it up. So there's still a huge element of danger in the layup shot. So you got to be conservative with your layup shot. Two six. We're gonna go 2-6. 2-5 and a little past the line. We hit great on the right, and I think we had enough room out there. Excellent. Perfect shot. Perfect execution. Now, he's got the right club, an extra mile, and he's got a power 1 ball. And he's easily into the fairway over there, into that neck. But with an extra mile, if you're right dead center, and you would want to set that up, start it off right dead center in that fairway spot. And then adjust for the wind from that point. You need to hit it perfect in order to get it up on that landing. So he hit it perfect. And let's see if he made the right wind adjustment. And he did make it good, and then he's rolling past it because he didn't have any curl at all in there. That hole has a bend to the right, so you're going to need to curl it just a titch. So from here, we've got to contend with this tree back here, but we can come into this area right here. And if we put maximum backspin, as much backspin as we can get, and curl and balance them out. And we want to get as close to the hole as possible. We want to stay at least 2 rings away from that rough. There's no reason to push ourselves against the rough. We're at 1.4 per ring, so there's 2.8, so we're about 1.5 rings. Somewhere in that neighborhood. And on this situation, it would be better to be short. And we're going to put a little bit of curl in it because we got that tree to contend with. We have a nice easy shot from the fringe or from the fairway up here, and if it would have trickled onto the green, it would have rolled pretty close to the hole, but from that spot it wouldn't have been rolling fast enough. But that's a pretty high percentage birdie every time you shoot this hole, as opposed to trying to go up there, because up there you're going to have to, in order to get your club there without overpowering it, you're going to have to bring a club that has a 2.5 or a 2-point accuracy. If you've got more developed clubs where you're in the 1.75 range when you get the Apocalypse, and the Thor's hammer at higher levels. A club to really try and get for these types of courses is a level 10 rock, because a level 10 rock will take, or a level 8 rock, excuse me, a level 8 rock will take the place of a level 10 quarterback, and it has a little bit more. So we're going to do a bump and run with our rapier. So we're going to point right at the pin. We want to be right at it. And right to the left of it is not good enough. You got to be right at it. And the reason you want to be right at it is right there where it hit the pole. That's a perfect shot. And a great to the left or the right rolls into the cup and may not hit the pin, but just rolls into the cup. That's why you don't want your arrow to be but just a little teeny bit past it. That's a pretty high percentage way to get a birdie on that hole every time, and you're not using clubs for you're using some of these clubs their particular thing, like with the Guardian and all the backspin. You can get really close to the hole and backspin, use the backspin to whoa that thing up, and use that curl to take advantage of that backspin to kind of throw the ball in that direction. And you can use much more accurate clubs than if you were using an extra mile trying to do the other shot. All right, that was hole number 3. So let's see what our notes say here. We got play right, try QB and Kingmaker. So we played to the left, or play left with a QB. I got that circled, Kingmaker and a Guardian. And that's the way that we went. I put notes on here for my initial notes just from previewing the courses to play for a safe birdie. Because this is a hole that a lot of guys, some holes you look at, you're trying to figure out a way to get that eagle on that hole, because if you screw up, you can get on there, you're still on in 2, and you're shooting for birdie. You know, you messed up the really good eagle shot, and you ended up in the sand, or you ended up in the rough and you didn't get on, or you ended up out of bounds on that shot, so you have to make that shot again. I see a lot of people that try and shoot a trick shot and miss it, and then the second time around they go conservative. You can't afford to go conservative. You have to make that trick shot again, and this time you have to make it, because that trick shot was going to get you the eagle when everybody else is getting birdie. And so what you need to do is now you need to make that trick shot and get that eagle so you can pick up the birdie that you just screwed up. And if you play conservative, now you're playing for par. So if you go for a trick shot and don't make it, you gotta stay on track. You gotta be brave. It's a game, and you're practicing all the way to the final, to the weekend round, so that you can, when you get to the weekend round, you're playing these holes pretty good. So we're on hole number 4. And I think we changed to a different course here. So this one here, I've been hitting, I'm not sure if we hit this with a sniper or if we hit this with our Saturn. I think we hit it in rookie with the Saturn. And we're landing right down in here by this first shadow, trying to bounce it up. There's a ridge right here, right along this point right here. There's a ridge right on the other side of the cup. And if you roll just a few feet, just a few checkers past the cup, you're going to roll down this hill. And when you get down here, even though you're not that far away from the ball, to get it up over that hill, it's an overpowered shot, and it is tough from down there. So even a worst case scenario, if you land out here and have to do a bump and run, so in the tournament, this is not a hole that you will have a high percentage of getting a hole in one on. And if you're having problems with this hole, try and keep the ball out up here on the flat. So any kind of chip shot that you have or putt that you have is flat to the hole, not down here at the bottom coming up. And it's very easy here with headwind. And I'm not sure in the tournament if it's going to be head or tailwind. Headwind affects the ball a little bit more. When you're dealing with headwind, you got to add on about 20% to the adjustment, because it'll end up, you're trying to hit the fringe right here and trying to roll to the hole, and it'll push that ball back to the rough. And so you'll land in the rough. It'll push it back almost a whole ring. So if you've got headwind, you got to adjust accordingly. A ring, if it was a one ring club, maybe a ring and a half, that'd be a 50%. No, it's probably a maybe a 1-3, maybe a 1. I'm gonna say a 1-3. So if it was that'd be a 30% increase. So if it was a 2, that'd be a 6. So that'd be 2.6. If it was 1.7, that'd be 3, 4, 5, 1. All right, so we're going to take a Saturn. We should already have that in play. We do. And I'm not sure what ball we're going to use. Let's look at that hole again. This has got to be at least a 1-powered ball, so we're going to try a Navigator, just because a Navigator will give us a little bit more wind control. We'll see if a 1-power ball works. If we need to go to a 2-power ball, we'll go to a Katana because they're cheaper. If the button will work. Okay, hole 4. So our notes: right side sniper Saturn, need ball guide, 5 to 6 backspin. Shadow midfield. So we're going to want to be by the shadow. Being in the middle of that field is not a bad idea. I'll have to pick a ring on it. Stay up and to the right. Tough hole in one. Need ball guide. This is a tough way to go, because your best bet is that you get on the fringe and can shoot it up there, because you're definitely not going to want to putt it from that side. That's not a side that you want to putt from. So we want to be 2 rings out. We'll pick a spot, and we're going to use about 4 backspin and a little bit of right, and we want to stay right of the hole. And the Saturn is 2 per ring, so we're up 4, 5, so there's 4. We'll go a little. We'll hit great to the right, which is better than hitting great to the left. And we'll just try and keep it up on that top level. I mean, it's always nice to make a hole-in-one, but I am really not interested in making a hole-in-one on this. I'm interested in staying on that top level. He's lucky because he can do a bump and run here, and he's got a rapier, so he can stretch that. If he stretches that top spin all the way out to the top, so he is used to using an inbringer and used to doing this. But the high percentage shot here, the reason why you want to use a rapier is to do a bump and run, because it's a guaranteed, it will go in the hole, and it won't be short like that. It will go in the hole. That was having the right club and using it improperly. I'm getting some lag, so I got to be real careful here. I might be getting some lag because I might be running out of space, so I may have to stop the video at the end of this hole at this point, and then I'll start it right back up again. I'll go clear off some space.